Epic Universe just confirmed that brand new wand experiences are coming to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, and they are taking guest immersion to a whole other level. Hello everybody and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about these brand new wands that are coming to Epic Universe, as well as the new interactive experiences that we can expect. We are also going to be talking about some possible planned features such as wand duels, visible spell effects, and even an interactive wand attraction. Epic Universe just revealed all of their plans for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, so we have all the information for all 5 lands at Epic Universe, and I am so excited for this thing to open up. I did a full review of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. You're going to want to check out that video. I'll link to it below if you want to know all the details on all the different attractions and things that are coming to that. But today we're going to focus specifically on all the new wand things coming out. Now we know we are getting a brand new wand store and experience called Cosme Acajor. Cosme is basically a renowned wizard that creates all of these couture, exquisite artisan wands. And so the wands that are going to be at the Ministry of Magic are going to be different than the wands that you're going to get at Universal Studios or Islands of Adventure in the British areas of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So we're expecting some of the wands that would be from the wizards in the Fantastic Beasts saga. So we'll likely get a Newt Scamander wand and some of the other characters. Now, not only will these wands be different wands than what you can get currently at Universal or Islands, they will actually be packaged differently as well. So instead of the rectangular sort of boxes that we're used to, these boxes are going to be triangular in shape. And you can see those triangular shapes on the walls in some of the concept art, and so you'll be able to get a different wand and a different packaging for that wand. Now it does say you will also be able to buy the rectangular British Ministry of Magic, British Wizarding World of Harry Potter wands at this store as well, so you'll be able to get both. And we are expecting that these wands that they are going to sell at Epic Universe are going to be the new version of the interactive wands, which we are sort of formally or tentatively calling it the 3.0 version of the wands. The 1.0 version was the non-interactive wands. Those were the first versions that were introduced. Then they came out with the interactive wands, which were a little bit more expensive, but that allows you to do different interactions in the park, standing in front of some of the windows and the displays and doing your spell effects. These new versions are going to be a little bit different. They're going to have some advanced features to them. So over the summer, Universal has been having a massive sale on their current interactive wand stock. We saw sales of up to 70% off for their interactive wands. And currently right now they are also having a special promotion where if you purchase $300 worth of merchandise or more, you get a free interactive wand. This is a big deal because Universal has never done this before. They have never just given away the interactive wands. It used to be if you spent a certain amount of money in merchandise, you got one of the non-interactive wands for free. But now they're giving you a free interactive wand if you spend a certain amount of money. So that right there just tells me that they are having a fire sale on these interactive wands. I think they're really trying to get rid of the older stock of the interactive wands because the new wands are going to be coming. Disney did something similar when they went from their Magic Bands to their Magic Band 2.0 versions, and then when they went from their 2.0 versions to their Magic Band Plus, which is the current version today. And these new wands sound like they are going to be amazing. There's a few key features of these wands that set them apart from the current interactive wands. The first thing is that there will be a replaceable or rechargeable battery system in these wands. Similar to the Magic Band Plus, if you remember, the Magic Band 2.0 version was not rechargeable. It did have a power source that lasted a long period of time, but it really wasn't doing anything for you other than allowing you to scan into the parks or use it for sort of fast passes. The Magic Band Plus added a bunch of features like the ability to light up and the vibration that the Magic Band had. So with lighting and vibrations, that really eats battery really quickly. So you do have to have a way to be able to recharge that, which tells us that these new interactive wands are going to have things like lighting effects and vibration or haptics. Expectation for the wands is that there is going to be a light up tip or some sort of even potential lighting effects throughout the wand itself, depending on the wand, that gives you kind of like a crackling energy or some sort of little tip on the end that lights up when you're doing spells or when you're doing specific motions. And then the haptic / tactile feedback that you're gonna get from the wand is gonna tell you when you're actually doing something correct. For example, if you're doing a spell, Expelliarmus, and you do it correctly, it might actually give you some tactile feedback that you did it correctly. Or if you're actually doing an interactive experience in the park, it may also kind of give you feedback that it's actually working as well. So that's going to eat up a lot of batteries, so you need to be able to have a way to recharge or replace the batteries in those wands. Otherwise it won't last for very long, and it'll basically just be a standard wand. And then the other thing that these wands are going to bring to the table is the ability to interact with the app on your phone. Again, Magic Band Plus has this ability as well, to be able to interact with your phone. You can use it for things like Batu Bounty Hunters in Disney's Hollywood Studios and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, to do some of the interactions there. And this is going to be a game changer. We'll talk about the app integration a little bit later. Now I want to talk about the interactive experiences that you'll be able to have with these wands. We know Universal has confirmed at Epic Universe they're going to have brand new wand experiences. They've announced those, they've shown them, they've told us that a lot of these experiences are going to be around the magical creatures from the Fantastic Beasts universe and are interacting with them. There will of course be the standard windows and areas that you can interact with them, but we're speculating that there's going to be magical creatures sort of hidden around the entire land. And they said they're going to have some of the largest interactive creatures and some of the smallest animatronics that they've ever had in any of their parks. So I'm really looking forward to see what they're doing there with some tiny and some really large animatronics that you can interact with these wand experiences. And while that sounds really cool and interesting, it's not super different from what is available today from the Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley. So what's really so different? If you look at the experiences today, they're usually walled off behind either a window or some sort of fence or gate, and there's a camera. There's actually a camera that's sort of trying to track the movements and trying to interact with the wand. So when you're doing your movements with your wand, it's sort of tracking you and trying to see what you're doing, and then it does some sort of effect, like a knight being built that's like sort of a crumpled mass of armor that essentially is built into a standing freeform knight. Or maybe water sort of spouting out of a water fountain at you, but there's lots of cool little different things to do across the parks. But all of those experiences have been built and tailored towards the existing interactive wands. But at Epic Universe, they're actually building experiences that are going to be tailored for these new wands. And I want to walk through a few things that we're expecting from these experiences. One of the things that I'm most excited for is the possibility of these sort of transparent micro OLED screens or windows, if you will, that are going to bring an extra level of interaction with these wand experiences. If you don't know much about this technology, it's simply a transparent pane of glass, if you will, or plastic or whatever it is, that actually has visible items on it. So unlike a normal television set, it's actually transparent. You can see through it. So sort of like a TV that you can see through at the same time. And so this technology allows them to actually display things on, for example, something that looks like a pane of glass in a window. And so potentially if you're interacting and waving your wand around, they'll be able to display things on the window that could be special effects, if you will. So think about something like I go to do a spell through a window or some sort of glass pane, and I actually get this almost effect that seems like a lightning or sort of a particle effect that maybe is coming out of the actual wand and doing something, and then things on the other side of that glass are actually moving around, and all sorts of cool things could be happening. I'm really excited for this potential technology. That could really add a level of interaction and immersion and making you feel like you're really doing something. Currently today, when you do a spell, you know, it doesn't really show anything. There's no like bolt of energy that comes off the spell, which makes sense in many ways, because even in the wizarding world, in the movies, you know, spells, when they do spells, there's not always some sort of thing that shoots off. But in the movies, there's also different places where when they're doing the wand battles, they're actually like flinging this like energy beam at each other, and they're sort of hitting each other and exploding. So it could be really cool to have some sort of effect like that that sort of shows up on that transparent glass. And so I'm expecting some really cool interactive features like that in this new Epic Universe space. And we don't know if they're gonna try to bring any of this new technology that we're talking about to the existing parks. I do know that they have been updating the current experiences. So there have been walls up around a lot of the windows and experience spaces in Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley where they're making upgrades. They're installing brand new cameras that are probably much more sensitive than the existing camera systems. They may even be replacing the glass and replacing it with some sort of transparent OLED to give us some of these effects. They might also be updating the sound systems. Right now there is sound systems. If you've ever interacted with these experiences, there is sound, but it's not very loud. Sometimes it can even be hard to hear. So they could be upgrading the sound system as well. But again, these are spaces that they are having to refurbish and update so that they work with the new wands versus the Epic Universe spaces, which they will build from the ground up, knowing the features of the new interactive wands. So they may even be better experiences in Epic than you get from Universal and Islands of Adventure. Now they have said that the old wands will work with the new technology. You may not get the full experience from the older wands, but you will still be able to interact with the experiences. So no need to throw out those old wands and no need to buy the new wands if you don't want the new features. For example, the Magic Band 2.0, a lot of people still rock the Magic Band 2.0 and they don't buy the Magic Band Plus because they get what they need out of it. They don't care if it lights up or if it vibrates during the fireworks. Now, I also want to talk about in Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios, they are actually creating new wand experiences as well. There is a large walled off section over at Hogwarts there near the castle by the lockers where they're building a new experience. There's a couple of other places that are walled off. So not just upgrading the current interactive experiences, but also creating new things potentially. And these could be experiences where there's possibly a team member that could be guiding you through the experience, or an area that you need to wait in line for and then you walk into it and then you experience something and you walk out. Which brings me to my next possible exciting update for the wands, and that is something called wand dueling. We know that there have been patents and permits that have been being filed by Universal around this sort of wand dueling experience, or something that looks very much like wand duels. And this could be something where you're dueling against another human, or potentially dueling against maybe a projection of character, like maybe Sirius Black is over across the way from you and you're dueling with Sirius Black. I mean, that could be really cool. But just looking at these permits, looking at the things that they've created, you can kind of see like there's a person on each end and there's these like panes of glass, well, what looks like panes of glass between you. Again, could be this transparent micro OLED system that will show particle effects and maybe track your movements. And this could be a potential experience that they're going to bring to the current parks or even add to Epic Universe. Now, we don't have a formal announcement on this particular dueling sort of attraction, but it could be something that they're planning for a future attraction in the Ministry of Magic. We just don't know yet, but it sounds really exciting to me. But aside from the wand dueling sort of attraction, you might also be able to duel with other people in the parks. Or even duel at home. So using these new interactive wands, because they have haptics and they have lighting and they actually integrate with your Universal app, that brings a whole nother level of interaction with these wands where you could potentially meet somebody else in the park and have maybe a wand duel with them in real time at the park. Or even then go home and have it with your friends or your kids or your parents or whatever. And that just sounds really cool to me. You could really easily see how maybe doing a specific motion nearby somebody else, if you're connected with them, maybe on the app, if you're connected with two people on the same app, it can sort of know that you're in proximity with another person, and the wand will understand that, and you can know that they're having a duel together. I don't know, it sounds really cool. I'm sure there's some technological ways to make all that happen smoothly. But this all brings us to the app and the app integration. This is going to be critical for the success of these new wands. If you know anything about the Super Mario World area, there's obviously in Universal in Hollywood, California, they have a Super Mario World there already, a Super Mario Land. and they use something called the Power Up Band. This is a slap-on bracelet that you can actually put on your wrist, and it allows you to do all these new, like, cool interactions in the Super Mario area. It is optional, you don't have to buy it. I think it's like $30 or $40 or something like that for these little bands. But they allow you to do really cool things, and they have integration with the app. One of the things they allow you to do is walk around Super Mario Land and basically collect coins. So you can actually bump your band on like POW blocks or coin blocks, and you can actually collect them. It also integrates with the Mario Kart attraction ride. So any of the coins that you collect in the actual Mario Kart ride actually adds to your tally. So you go around the park and you collect all these coins throughout the day, and they actually show on like a leaderboard in the app and in different areas of the park who has the most coins. It'll show your name or your handle or whatever you call yourself, and it's just kind of a fun little added experience for that land. But they also have what are called boss battles in Super Mario area, which is sort of like Batu Bounty Hunters in that it is an interactive thing, and then you go around and do sort of a scavenger hunt in the park. So if you know anything about Batu Bounty Hunters in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, it works with the Magic Band Plus, and it has an app integration where you basically get a bounty off a board, and then you go find that bounty, and then you have to take a photo and capture sort of that bounty, bring it back, and then you get paid for that bounty. This is something similar where you're going around the park and you're basically trying to find these special key coin things. You have to get 3 of these key coins, and once you get them, you can challenge Bowser Jr. to a battle. And this interactive battle is in a specific location in the park, and it does have a team member that is sort of letting people in and out of that space so that you can actually participate in the battle. And this battle is really cool because it sort of tracks your movements, and you have to dodge things, and you have to do all this stuff in order to beat Bowser Jr. And then once you beat Bowser Jr., you get this like thanks from Princess Peach, just like in the games. And this power band and the sort of collecting of the coins also has features where it interacts with like Nintendo games like Mario Kart 8. There's a lot of cool things where it integrates with the app, and what we're expecting for Wizarding World is the same thing. The interactive wands will integrate with the app. So you can see how this is easily extendable. You can think about it as a new wizard. You're a new wizard, you're coming into the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, or Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley, and you're a brand new wizard or witch, and you're learning your first spells. And so you get your wand and you're going around the park and you're doing these experiences and looking at the little plate on the ground that tells you how to actually do the spell. And as you're doing those spells, it's tracking that on the app. And so when you're successful with doing those spells, it updates on the app. And so you're basically leveling up. You're basically learning new spells, almost like you're going through a year at Hogwarts. You're becoming a first year and a second year and a third year, and you can easily see how this continues to go, almost like an RPG, right? Where you're growing yourself as a wizard or a witch. And then maybe wand duels, how many wand duels have you won versus how many have you lost, and being able to track that. And then you may even be able to take that into a video game. For example, Hogwarts Legacy is a sort of open world Harry Potter game that just launched not too long ago. There could be features for Hogwarts Legacy or some new Wizarding World Harry Potter game that comes out. So if you're a gamer, that could sort of translate into that space, or maybe even some sort of mobile game. Sounds really cool to me. Now, one of the permits that we've seen talks about dueling dummies and basically adding some feature to dueling dummies. We don't know what that is. It could be some sort of like dummy that you're dueling with in one of the parks. Maybe a wand duel of some kind, or maybe you're practicing your spells on this sort of dummy in the park. I do know that you use dummies in the Hogwarts Legacy game to practice your spells and to level up and learn new spells. There are dummies physically in the game that you interact with in order to learn spells. Could be something similar there with an integration between the two, or maybe they're just sort of pulling from that and using that concept in the real world. Don't really know, it could just be a coincidence, but it sounds really interesting to me. Now, let me talk about one of the coolest things that I think is really neat, that I'm speculating here. I don't have confirmed information, but I feel like it's a high possibility. And that is about all these new sort of audio and vignettes and things that they're creating in the Epic Universe area. Now, They have already come out and said they're adding these. There will be lots of these little experiences throughout the park where you may be walking through the Ministry of Magic area, and you may overhear something happening in one of the doors or one of the rooms or one of the windows to your right, and it'll be some sort of conversation that you may be able to overhear things. And then there will be these different portraits and things throughout the park where you can interact with them, you can talk to them, and they'll actually give you a personalized greeting back. What I really find interesting there is all these audio things in the park that you can interact with. Those could very easily recognize you as an individual person based on the interactive wand or the app that you have in your pocket, if you have it running. And depending on what it recognizes you as, it could personalize responses towards that. So for example, let's say you level up yourself to become basically a master wizard or a master witch. You've mastered all the spells and you're at the top of your game. You're basically Harry Potter or Voldemort at this point. It's possible that the interactions and the audio might be personalized towards who you are. So saying things like recognizing you as a master wizard, or referring to you as a first-year newbie. Or maybe there will be the ability to be a good or a bad wizard. So be a positive force for good or a negative force for evil. And depending on your actions and the types of spells, and maybe if you do duels a lot or things like that, there could be possibility of sort of swaying whether you're good or evil. And again, maybe the interactions in the park will recognize that and refer to you as such. Maybe they'll cower in fear, or they'll welcome you with open arms, or they'll be friendly, or they'll be not so friendly. I think that's actually a really cool experiential thing that they could potentially be implementing for Epic Universe. We'll have to wait and see. I assume anything they build in Epic, they'll eventually sort of port over into Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley. But with all the technology that they're adding in these new wands, it is all possible. Again, we will keep you updated as we learn more information about these new wands and the new experiences coming to Epic Universe. I am super excited for these. I am definitely going to be picking up one of the new interactive 3.0 wands and trying to do everything I can possibly do. I am expecting that these wands may launch before Epic Universe actually opens its gates, so it's possible that you may be able to get a taste of what these interactive wands can do in Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade once they sort of reveal what's behind those walls. But we might not get them until it actually opens. We'll see. Either way, I'm going to be picking one up and I'm going to be trying all the experiences. What do you think about all of this? Are you excited? I feel like it's going to add a totally new level of immersion. We know that Wizarding World is a great revenue generator for Universal. These wands are a great revenue generator. And again, because people love experiences. They go to the parks not just to ride a fast roller coaster. You can do that at Six Flags or any of these other local places, but they go for the experience. And that just brings a whole nother level. I know that the power-up bands are super popular in the Super Nintendo area and they're very successful. I feel like they're going to be bringing that same level of interaction and experience to Wizarding World. I'm pumped. Let me know what you think. If you know any more information or you have things that I maybe missed or didn't think about, please put it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'll give you credit. I'll add it in my next video. Thanks again for joining me, and be sure to like, subscribe, share. Check all those videos out right below down in the description. I've got tons and tons of Epic Universe content. Probably be taking another trip out there real soon to get a glimpse of some of the new things that they're building. I don't know if y'all saw it, but recently there was a flying dragon over Epic Universe. It looks pretty cool. So again, hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thanks for joining me, and until I see you next time, the noble way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.